Last night, Tucker Carlson was criticizing politicians who shouldn't be providing advice in areas where they've personally failed. And while he didn't name any names, it sure sounded like he was talking about one person in particular. Take a look at this video and see if you can figure out who.
500-pound warhead, 300 bombers to it. It really can put the Russians at threat, but we haven't done that. And I think we should put him at threat. Until he really believes that we're seriously going after him, he's going to continue to make these threats.
So again, anybody who had a hand in, say, like the last 5 wars that diminished American power, killed Americans, made us poorer, hurt the United States long-term in very real ways. Anyone who participated in any of that should probably bow out of the conversation about the latest war. For the same reason that you wouldn't say take financial advice from someone who had gone bankrupt, or go to marriage counseling with someone who's been divorced 3 times, because they've demonstrably failed in their area of so-called expertise. And that would include virtually everyone you hear talking about this stuff.
So look, he listed those potential characteristics as random things. But when you put them all together, it kind of sounds like he's only talking about one person. Of course, Donald Trump has been divorced only twice, although Tucker stumbled over saying, he was originally gonna say has been married 3 times, and he changed it to 3 divorces, has been bankrupted many times. And of course, Donald Trump has been an enthusiastic advocate for wars like in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as leading us through years of war as president, which I think Tucker Carlson probably remembers. He might also remember, by the way, that he was a cheerleader for the war in Iraq and Afghanistan as well. He eventually backtracked on that after, let's say, 30, 50, 70,000 people had been killed. So I guess he got his thoughts together at some point, but he doesn't want you to remember all of that. And I wonder to both of you on the panel, was it just a coincidence? Could it possibly be a coincidence that he said all of those highly specific things and have him not be talking about Donald Trump?
Yeah, so a lot of people in the media are saying that, oh, what a funny mistake by Tucker Carlson, ha ha, on the slip up. I don't think it's a slip up at all, okay? So 3 strikes and you're out. First of all, you've got bankrupt. Why would we take business advice from a guy who's bankrupt? Trump's been bankrupt 6 times, 6, okay? And I love how fair and honest we are that we bother to say, now technically married 3 times, not divorced 3 times, but he's working. If you've ever seen the Melania videos where she swats his hand away, he's working on the 3rd one. And so, and then, by the way, this is an important thing that nobody else is mentioning. Kellogg, the guy that he's ripping there, General Kellogg, that was on Fox News there, is a former Trump administration official. So he's also throwing rocks at Trump officials, okay? And not a guy who had a falling out with Trump. So now the other thing that he's doing is saying, now anyone who participated in those last 5 wars, had a hand in it in any way, is in essence disqualified. But if you're a talk show host and you weren't officially in government, so you didn't have a hand in those wars, and Tucker's gone to great lengths to say, oh, I changed my mind on Iraq right away. It was really quick. It's like a Trumpian response. And so he is gonna claim, I don't have anything to do with those things. By the way, if you remember, he said that he changed his mind on Iraq. He said it on a radio show because the Iraqis were monkeys and he didn't care about them.
Yep.
Okay, so that's who Tucker Carlson is. So why would he take all these shots at Trump? Well, I've been saying this a long time. I think Tucker Carlson's long-term plan, which might not be that long-term, is to replace Donald Trump in the Republican Party and be the new cult leader as well as potentially political leader. But he can't do a direct assault on Trump. His audience loves Trump too much. So he's chipping away at him in subtle ways like this. And it's in the prompter, guys. If it's in the prompter, it's not an accident. They produced it, they wrote it ahead of time.
That's true.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you hit all the nails on the head when it comes to this. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this continues to play out in this battle between Trump and Tucker Carlson. Because Trump is a street fighter, that he is, and he's definitely not gonna let Tucker, I suspect he will not let Tucker get away with this.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I'm sure they talk at least semi-frequently, and I wonder how it's gonna shake out. I mean, I would also like to just throw out there, I think it's probably pragmatic on the part of Tucker Carlson to not name names here, but He also definitely thinks that he's smarter, better than Trump. And here he is not having the actual balls to just say what he thinks. If he actually thinks that Donald Trump is a disaster and isn't qualified to be president, which he sort of is implying there in areas that are important, like in questions of war, then why did you support him last time? Why would you definitely support him next time? And again, by the way, his whole point there, and I really do think that we should dive into his greater point, is that he gets what other people don't get, which is we should look at the results of what happens. If people say X is gonna work and it doesn't, we should learn from that. Well, you're saying that Trump shouldn't be trusted and yet you support him. So why should we trust your evaluation of presidents? And also, like, why should we trust you on matters of war? You were wrong about Iraq and Afghanistan. You were wrong many times about Ukraine as well, which by the way is understandable. Not everybody can be an expert on everything, but have you ever heard Tucker Carlson apologize, say that he got it wrong? Even just recently, when Ukraine swept through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, pushing Russia out of whole regions, that followed weeks of Tucker Carlson saying the war was about to end, they were about to be totally conquered. Has he said, man, I really flubbed that? No, he supported multiple rounds of trillions of dollars of tax cuts under literally every Republican president that we've had for decades. It has never produced the economic effect that they said it would. And yet what will he support if Ron DeSantis becomes president? Trillions of dollars of tax cuts. I love the principle that he's expressing there. I just wish that he had literally ever in his life followed it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're bringing up, John, it would take some self-awareness.
Yeah,
for him and the courage, be person enough to apologize and say I made a mistake. But he will never do that. And then the point that Cenk made about when you ask why wouldn't he name the name, Cenk, you already alluded to that. It is his viewers. They will rain hellfire on that dude if he ever, even once, goes head to head with Trump in that way. And I don't think he can stand that kind of heat.
Yeah, no, and again, look, I hate to do it, but I give Tucker credit on this all the time. He's a smart guy, and he knows you gotta chip away at Trump before doing a frontal assault. So he's planting like 20 knives in his back before he hits him in the front. And he's a right winger, so that's how they roll, okay? Now, but I love what John said. On the content of this story, Tucker is both dramatically wrong and, by the way, also correct. Wait, how? So he's doing unbelievable, over-the-top propaganda for the Russians. He has this retired Colonel Douglas McGregor on all the time. McGregor is a lunatic. He goes on there. He just said last week, right now things are going very, very badly, which is why the Ukrainians are so desperate. What are you talking about? The Russians are running from Ukraine. Like this is, it's the exact opposite of reality, right? So Tucker Carlson brings him on and McGregor's like, oh, the Russians are awesome, the Russians are winning. Oh, the Ukrainians terrible, right? Like it's just over the top, total 100% Putin propaganda, okay? So, I mean, and I think there's some percentage chance that's Tucker saying, hey, if I do run Russians, you know who's your boy, and you remember what you did last time, give me a lot more of that, okay? I'll be even better than Trump in handing the country over to you. But in that segment where he said, he called out Keith Kellogg, who by the way was acting national security advisor for Donald Trump. He was totally right. Kellogg's an idiot and a disaster. What do you mean? He said we have to, referring to the Russians, we have to put them in threat. Why? Why? And he's like, so that they don't threaten us. It really is that how wars work? If you threaten someone else, they then cower away. No, 100% of the time, when you threaten them, they threaten you. Okay, so and Tucker's right that anyone who had a hand in those last 5 wars should never be in government again. Never, none of them, Republicans, Democrats, etc. But Tucker's just using it as a way to rile up false populism. And at the end of the day, what's he gonna do? He's gonna give tax cuts to the rich. That's the only thing they care about. But we are fair and honest. And that commentary about how Kellogg is an idiot is actually totally true.
Yeah, 100%, it is true. And the general principle, you shouldn't listen to these people. Just bear in mind that Tucker Carlson will support these people in all levels of government. Maybe not Kellogg specifically, but whoever Trump chooses and initiates wars, Tucker Carlson will be running defense for him. That's what he'll be doing. If Ron DeSantis, sells tons of weapons to Saudi Arabia to bomb the Yemenis, Tucker Carlson's probably not gonna have a big problem with it. He's certainly not gonna turn on him.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.